Afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining me for Lending Report for May 30th, 2025. A really pretty quiet week, all things considered. A good week for the MBS markets, that I'll share with you here shortly, the MBS charts with you. But we'll start with mortgage applications, which we always do. Purchases up 2% week over week, and refinances down 7% week over week. Now, initial jobless claims for the comparison week, initial claims up 14,000. And the continuing claims up 26,000. So those people filing for unemployment. Now, probably most important this week were the GDP and PCE released. GDP came out on Wednesday. It was the second look at the first quarter for GDP. It is down. It is a negative 0.2%. So it does suggest that consumer spending is slowing. Also within this report, we do see that personal spending is much weaker than it has been in the past. Came in at 1.2% versus the expectation of 1.8%. So this does suggest that people are slowing down with spending, which does translate to a slowing in the economy. We'll see how that translates to the Fed speak about cutting short-term interest rates. They're still holding firm on the fact that they're not going to make any cuts anytime soon. But this week, Powell did meet with President Trump, and Trump did say that he did expect, he does feel that mortgage rates should be lower, and held firm to that. So Powell indicating that that meeting was a bit cold, not a very friendly meet. But this week, today, we did get PCE. This is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Not very surprising. Only up 0.1% for that core number. The core number is what the Feds watch because it strips out food and energy, which are very volatile and can't be controlled. So we're just hanging tight. We're year over year. We're at 2.5%. So still hanging over that 2% mark that they've set as their benchmark. But again, they did reiterate, or they did suggest last week that they are going to ease the reins on hitting that 2%. So we'll see how that plays out for us as we move through the latter part of this year. We're almost halfway through it. Next week's a big week. Next week is jobs week. That does tend to be a market mover. And with any luck, those numbers will come in low, or we should say we want job numbers to come in low because that suggests there are fewer jobs out there, fewer job creations. There is some expectation we should see some increase in the unemployment rate. That does help long-term interest rates typically. So we'll see how next week's plays out. But jobs week already here as we move into June. So here is the MBS charts for this week. You can see we are in the green today. So we're having a positive but yet mild response to the PCE report today, but it's good to see that we're in the green. That does help us. Not seeing any major shifts in interest rates, but nonetheless, good for us to be here right now. That it has been an overall positive week for us. So if you are interested in purchasing or potentially refinancing, now is a good time. I will continue to say that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I do appreciate when you like my videos, or if you feel that you want to share them, by all means, happy to have you do that. Otherwise, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.